Are you in the Southern Hemisphere in Singapore? Yeah, did you want to share something, Sajad?
Hi guys, sorry I was on mute. Today I'm out and I'm going to wood with my friends and I was taking pictures so I didn't hear you. Can you tell me again what have you said about me?
Oh, I just asked if you wanted to share something.
hmm Well, uh, I was sick the last week. The reason why? Because I was watching a TV show, and during that TV show, I was got tapline, and after that, I was going to help one of my new friends about his life. I knew that he is engaged with the reptilian, with the other creatures of actually the negative entities from the astral realm, and he actually doesn't know how to manage those things. I have seen him in the real side so many times. Uh, in one of them, that was uh, somehow cool. I saw him. He's getting out of a room, and he was coming toward me, and I was going toward him, and suddenly our hands go into each other. Like somehow like the lovers, but from the front. And after that, I saw him. He was. We were sitting in a room, and he was telling me about a girl. He gave me the number and told me, do you know that girl? I wrote the number on my phone to see if I have the contact or no. And I saw that I have a contact called G. The name was G. Uh, so I didn't know who is the contact. So I checked her telegram photograph, and the first one was a photograph of the girl. The second one was some kind of pornographic photograph, and the third one was so like the previous one. And I told him, how you don't know the name of the girl that you are with, you are coupled with. It was, somehow uh, funny for me in the dream. When I woke up, my right hand was in pain, actually my shoulder. And I was wondering what happened to my shoulder because the night before I was good and I haven't participated in some sport or anything that can affect my shoulder. So I do the New Year, but the pain didn't go. Uh, so I did a focus. Before the New Year, I was practicing energetic healing, so I'm used to this kind of things. I did a focus and I realized that my right shoulder is somehow connected to his right shoulder. And I realized that the pain is coming from him. So I told him in Telegram that, do you have pain in your shoulder, in your right shoulder? He said, yes, exactly. And I told him, dude, you are in trouble. You are engaged with a negative entity. I realized that the girl that I saw in his dream wasn't a person. It was a negative entity. And about the pornographic photo, it means that that negative entity is affecting him in his sexual reality. And he said, yes, I am uh, in pain with my shoulder. And I told him to do the New Year. The second time that I have dreamed about my friend was that he was sitting around a table with one of my high school friends. And before this scene comes, I had a bag and a bicycle with myself that belongs to this person, belongs to my friend. And I was finding a place to hide these tools, the bicycle and the bag. so that nobody touch them, so my friend can get them, safely, and nobody rob them or so. And after this thing goes, I saw my friend sitting around the table with some of my high school friends. I grabbed his hand and I was taking him with myself, and I was telling him something. And I was taking him to the tools, to the bicycle and a bag. The bag was a robotic bag that contains some electronic tools. And this scene finished. I realized from this scene that the bicycle is a vehicle that person can goes around with, go from this destination to the other. So I realized that maybe I have to tell him about something that help him to go through, help him to progress in his spiritual or in his real being. And the tools means the things, maybe the techniques and everything that he needs in this way, in his path. That I also have them too, that I have to give it to him so he can use them. And this was the second dream I saw about him, and I haven't met him yet. And then came the third dream. In the third dream, he was participating in a religious ceremony, and I saw him there, and I saw two of my religious friends. I recognized both of them in the dream, but I didn't remember one of them. And I take the photos of my friend and send it to him. And I told him that, look, these are my friends that are participating in that ceremony. And after that, he came to me after the ceremony, and we go outside. We were in the room, and then we go outside. It was like a yard. And we were sitting there, and he was telling me that I don't do anything except working and sewing. And I asked him, where do you sew of the clothes? He told me about the part, the lower part of the body, below the navel, up the knees. I don't know what you call it. And he told me that I sew this part yet. And in the other scene, a person comes and they started talking, and I didn't know what they talked about. After waking up, I realized that this friend is engaged in religious ceremony, and he's taplining. He's getting tapline in those ceremonies. And about the swing, when I focus on that part of his astral body and energetic body, that part in the energetic body is the first energetic center, the root chakra, they call it. I realized that his root chakra is torn, and he's losing energy through there, and he's having a great trouble in that point. That's why in the dream I was shown that he's sewing that part of the clothes. And after that dream, I managed a meeting with him, and I go to see him. And there was a lot of pressure on me, a lot of pressure. Even though I was singing the new all the time, there was a lot of pressure on me that they're trying to tapline me in every way. For example, my friends come late and they're trying to make me angry of him. I could easily sense that the signals, the pulses are coming from the outside of them. And so I try to stay calm and don't get angry and don't be affected. And after seeing him, I haven't told him about the levels and about the God or any of these things, because he's so young and he's a religious person. In our countries, most of the people are very religious, are heavily taplined by religious. But after this meeting, I told him about the God and about everything the Deen has told me about the levels, about the incarnation, that the gods of hands don't want us to be free. They want us to be incarnated again and again and again. And so it was so hard for him. The reptilian put pressure on him. He had pain in his third eye point, in his third eye area. And my feeling told him to put my hands on back of him, on back of his neck. And I did that, and he told me I'm more calm. Thank you, I'm more calm. And I told him, dude, I have these pressures too. These are the reptilians that don't want us to be here, don't want to share this reality, this consciousness. And I'm dealing with two. And if you want to see the truth, if you want to recognize the isness, the all is, you have to be more aware, and you have to take care of yourself, because he had told me that I don't care about anything else. I'm very in a bad motive. I'm very sick, and etc. And I told him, dude, these are all the taplines that they have done on you, and you have to take care of yourself. You have to start doing the new year on a regular basis. And after meeting this friend, I got sick for about 4 days. So about 4 or 5 days. I almost recovered today. And I know that the sickness was because of that meeting, somehow because I wasn't maybe enough aware to prevent that sickness, to prevent those kind of top lines. But it happened, and I wasn't feeling good in these few days until today. I'm done.
Wow, it's a real adventure. Thanks for sharing, Sajad. That's really a lot. Thank you. That was cool. Yeah, and if this is really fun, this time works for you guys, because we don't often always see you guys on the other calls, because it's 12 hours different from now, more or less. I just wanted to let people know who don't know that that was Gloria who spoke first, and she's in Singapore, and then Olga is from New Zealand, but she's in Australia, and Sajad is in Iran there. So yeah, it's really cool. I appreciate you guys sharing. It's really cool. And I'm from New Zealand, and I'm in California here. So we also have Erick on. Erick is from Haiti, and he is about to come join us here in California in the next week or so. Erick, do you want to share something?
Hey guys. Sorry, it takes a while to unmute. Sure, I'll share something. So I've spent a little part of this day in Philadelphia. As I was like coming out here to just kind of like observe and see what I saw for everything. And I know I can share a little of what I saw just coming down and walking around. So like I get off the train, I'm like walking up the stairs from the subway, and I'm just like looking at all of like the buildings that I see. And if you don't know, Philadelphia is like a pretty what is it, popular city over here in the United States on the East Coast. But I'm looking up at buildings, and like all I can like feel is like, oh wow, everything just feels like so restricted here. And but what I mean by this is like everything looks like super compartmentalized. Like everyone's just packed into these buildings, into like these boxes, and you know, just like super disconnected from everything. And um, and I don't know. I recall how I felt like the first time I came out here, and like just feeling like, oh yeah, like this is where I want to be, like the city where things are happening. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is where I want to be. This is where it happens. Whatever it was, you know, whatever that meant to me at the time. And like, just like, but I also like recall like definitely my real awareness, even though I couldn't recognize what that was at the time. This was like 6 years ago or something. I couldn't recognize what that was at the time, but I definitely remember like feeling also I need to be careful if I do decide to like live out here because it's very easy to get like lost, like lose yourself, or like your sense of direction in a place like this, in a city like this. Um, and now I definitely see it better. It's like it's not. I used to call it like you'll get lost in the cesspool, but it's really you're just like getting lost in all the ideas that people are like following and like holding to themselves here. Whatever vision or whatever idea of like seeming success everyone out here has that they're striving for or whatever. I mean, honestly, if you have the right references and you can relate to like the true reality and all that stuff, like then really everything that everyone out here is like chasing actually has like no value like at all, really. And I mean, it's like not a negation. Everyone can do whatever they want, but like personally, it just has no value. It has like no real value. But and then I was like sitting on the sidewalk waiting for an old friend of mine to come meet up with me. And I was just like watching everyone drive their cars, just going about their business, and just thinking like, wow, those cars are like everyone's consciousness in miniature, you know, just like everyone locked in to their little vehicles, and like they're driving their cars, but they don't really understand how it works, you know. They don't know how that engine works, what's driving their car, you know. um, and like all the ideas that they hold within themselves is kind of like all the mess in everyone's car. And most people really don't pick up or keep their car clean or anything like that. They just carry all the mess around with them or in their trunk and stuff. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of like what I saw today as I came out here.
Yeah, everybody, you can feel free to comment on each other's experiences and stuff. Um, yeah, I don't have to be the only one, but it's fine. It's cool. Yeah, Eric, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing. It's like, yeah, it's like when you become more like, when you more so stand in this reality, the isness, you know, you're, and you're like the sun shining, like as an example, you're not affected by all this stuff people are agreeing to here. And it's hard to do it all the time because we have to do certain things to relate to this place and be here. But when you are there, and you know, when your intent is there, which is the most important thing, yeah, you're always okay here. And it's kind of crazy how people have agreed to create what is here now, you know, and that it keeps going that way. Like the earth is dying, and people, they don't really care, you know. They're just driving their cars around from one place to the other, and they're not doing anything real. But it's cool to take the time to recognize these things and compare them to the true reality, and then share them with each other is so cool. And we're like, it's like confirmations for each other that, yeah, there are other real beings here that are making sense of their lives, and we've all decided such different journeys here, just this lifetime, and of course that goes off our other lifetimes and things, and because we're all very individual and unique, but at the same time we're all free beings of real light, and so yeah, to share our insights and experiences, and we all become more aware together, and it's so cool. Yeah, it's really fun to hear all of you guys share. It's great.
Yes, that's really true. It's so wonderful seeing more people like starting to wake up just everywhere. It's really funny. I've heard so many times, just from individuals I know, saying, "Man, I feel like this year I really like woke up." You know, like I can't but help thinking like, "Wow, you haven't even like started yet." There's so much more.